Is the moment that Broadway builds towards each season. The 79th annual Tony Award nominations are out this morning. 30 eligible shows, dozens of actors from those shows eligible for nominations, and the full list of the Tony class of 2026 will be announced in just a few minutes. But before that, we will get to the nominees that have been announced already. New York One On Stage host Frank DiLella is with me in the studio. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Pat. Happy Tony nomination day.
A lot of excitement, and we're going to get to know in just a few minutes. But 6 categories are already out in front of us. What are you seeing on that list?
Well, you know, just kind of going down the list, Best Actress in a Musical, we have, where is it? Sarah Chase, Schmigadoon, Stephanie Hsu, The Rocky Horror Show, Casey Levy, Ragtime, Marla Mandel, Titanic, Christiana, Cake Across New York. A big surprise here, no Lea Michele for Chess. Lea Michele obviously being, you know, a Broadway baby at heart. She's back at the home where she made her Broadway debut in Les Mis in the 90s. Many people thought she'd be a shoo-in for Best Actress in a Musical, and she is not on that list.
Not even nominated.
Not nominated.
Is that about past politics? Is it about the production itself? What goes into these decisions? Not that we're in the minds of the Tony voters.
It's, you know, that show opened rather early compared to some of the other shows on that list. It opened in the fall, and also, you know, Sarah Chase, Marla Mandel, these ladies got rave reviews for their performances in their respective shows. So, yeah, not on the list this morning.
Let's go through some of these nominations category by category.
Sure.
We'll start with Best Musical. We had talked about this, that there were 6 productions nominated.
Yeah.
There were six productions eligible, that it would likely be that only 4 got nominations, and that came in exactly as expected. Schmigadoon,
Yes.
The Lost Boys, Titanic, and Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York.
Which, when I was with you at 7:30, Pat, you asked, what do you think's going to be on the card for Best New Musical in this category? And as mentioned, I mentioned these 4 this morning, with Beaches and The Queen's Side being left off the list.
All right, Best Play nominations next on our list here. On the list, Liberation is on the list, Little Bear Ridge Road is on the list, and The Ballisters is on the list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, reading up what critics have been saying about various shows that are part of this season, you know, this was to be expected. No shockers here for me.
I want to touch on Best Actor in a Musical. That is a category that we've been watching here. The nominations coming in for Ragtime, Rocky Horror, Chess. A second for Ragtime, both Joshua and Brandon getting Ragtime nominations, and Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York.
Yes, and with this list, Luke Evans and Sam Tutty from Two Strangers both making their Broadway debuts this season. And also first-time Tony nominees. The one big thing with Ragtime, which opened at Lincoln Center in October, you know, everyone is talking about the performances in the show. And if you look at in this musical, Casey Levy, Brandy Aronowitz, and Joshua Henry, all 3 of them recognized this morning with nominations.
Johnny Oleszynski is back with us this year, the New York Post entertainment critic. Johnny, you've been looking at these early nominations as well as we await the full list of nominations at 9 o'clock. Let's talk about that crowded Best Actor in a Play category.
Well, because there's so much star power on Broadway this season, there wasn't room for everybody, and one of the people that was actually surprisingly omitted or snubbed, to use a fiery word, was Adrien Brody, the Oscar winner from The Brutalist, who's in the play The Fear of 13. Many people thought he was very powerful, but there just wasn't room. We have John Lithgow, Nathan Lane, Daniel Radcliffe, Will Harrison from the British play Punch, so that was a big surprise. But yeah, no John Bernthal either, for the stars on Broadway.
Frank, you told me days ago how crowded that category was, and somebody would be feeling left out there.
Yeah, I mean, and as Johnny mentioned, some major A-listers when it comes to Hollywood being on Broadway this season, Adrian Brody being one of them. Keanu Reeves was on Broadway earlier this season in Waiting for Godot. John Bernthal, all giving performances that people were writing about, people were raving about, but they were left off the list. And as Johnny mentioned, Punch being recognized, Will Harrison from Punch being recognized committee, which that show opened earlier this season. It was remembered, and yeah.
We got one more category that we didn't do, has been announced already. Best Actress in a Play, and if we can get that up on screen, we'll go through those as well. I've got them in front of me here. Rose Byrne, Carrie Coon, Susanna Flood, Leslie Manville, and Kelly O'Hara nominated in that category.
A big year for Rose Byrne, getting an Oscar nomination and also a first Tony nomination, first Oscar nomination and Tony nomination this season with her performances on screen and on stage. And also, Fallen Angels is the show that she's nominated for her performance with. Her co-star, Kelly O'Hara, also being recognized. And two of them giving fantastic performances in that play. And then also, you know, we look at Susanna Flood getting nominated for Liberation. Liberation just had a big moment yesterday, picking up the Pulitzer Prize for Best Play, or the Pulitzer Prize for Drama. So Liberation is also on a roll as well.
All right, we're waiting for the Tonys live stream to begin for the rest of the categories. Tell me who we're going to see and what's going to happen here over the next 20 minutes or so.
Well, the rest of the categories are going to be announced. We're going to see Darren, Chris, and Uzo Aduba announcing them. The countdown is on, Pat. I think we're going to see a lot of love for Schmigadoon. I think we're going to see a lot of love for the Lost Boys. Liberation. We shall see what happens.
All right. Get to the live stream in just a few seconds here. At the end of the live stream, we'll come back and we'll try to get some of the successful nominees with us live. To the Tony Awards nomination announcement now.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Tony Nominations Day.
Happy Tony Nominations Day, everybody. New York. York, celebrating the American Theater Wing's 79th annual Tony Award nominations, presented by the Broadway League and the American Theater Wing. Now, Uzo, I realized I don't know as much about you as I thought I did. I thought I knew everything.
Okay.
I met you when you were doing Godspell.
Okay.
But that was not your Broadway debut.
Okay, so what do you want to know?
What was your Broadway debut?
Corn Boy.
Corn Boy. I should have known that. Okay, let's do another quick lightning round. So Broadway debut was Corn Boy. Do you know what my Broadway debut was?
How to Succeed.
It's not just because it's in the teleprompter.
But it's
You do
mostly
that.
that.
Yeah, it's mostly that,
but
we were
also-
doing that at the same time.
Yeah, okay,
you,
fair enough,
You
fair
were
enough.
across the. You were at
Yes,
Circle.
yes,
and I was
I remember.
At, Herschel.
I remember.
It's a
I
good
saw
time. All right. More importantly, and this is like brass tacks. Favorite Jellicle cat.
Oh, Under the Shields.
Under the Shields, obviously,
Yes.
mother, of course.
Yes.
Have you ever taken a cake around the city with a British dude on the day of your sister's wedding?
Oddly specific, and yes.
Yes, me too. Thank God. I thought I was the only one. I do it every weekend.
Burnt Sienna.
Obviously, goes with everything.
Yep.
I would wager to say that Burnt Sienna is.
Okay, let's just get into this year's nominations. Earlier on CBS Mornings, we announced several categories. We're announcing them again here.
The nominees for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role in a Musical are Nicholas Christopher, Chess, Luke Evans, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Joshua Henry, Ragtime, Sam Tuddy, Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, Brandon Uranowitz, Ragtime. The nominees for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role in a Play are Will Harrison, Punch, Nathan Lane, Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, John Lithgow, Giant, Daniel Radcliffe, Every Brilliant Thing, Mark Strong, Oedipus.
The nominees for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Musical are Sarah Chase, Schmigadoon, Stephanie Hsu, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Casey Levy, Ragtime, Marla Mendel, Titanic, Christiane Pitts, Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York. The nominees for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Play are Rose Byrne, Fallen Angels, Carrie Coon, Bug, Susanna Flood, Liberation, Leslie Manville, Oedipus, Kelly O'Hara, Fallen Angels.
The nominees for Best Musical are The Lost Boys, Schmigadoon, Titanic, Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York.
The nominees for Best Play are The Ballisters by David Lindsay Abaire, Giant by Mark Rosenblatt, Liberation by Bess Wool, Little Bear Ridge Road by Samuel D. Hunter.
The nominees for Best Book of a Musical are The Lost Boys, David Hornsby and Chris Hoke, Schmigadoon, Cinco Paul, Titanic, Marla Mendel, Constantine Rusuli, and Ty Blue. Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, Jim Barn and Kit Backen. The nominees for Best Original Score, Music and/or Lyrics written for the theater are Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, music by Caroline Shaw. August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone, music by Steve Barganetti. The Lost Boys, music and lyrics by The Rescues. Schmigadoon, music and lyrics by Cinco Paul. Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, music and lyrics by Jim Barn and Kit Backen.
The nominees for Best Scenic Design of a Play are Hildegard Bechtler, Oedipus, Takeshi Kata, Bug, David Corins, Dog Day Afternoon, Chloe Lamford, Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, David Rockwell, Fallen Angels. The nominees for Best Scenic Design of a Musical are Dots, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Sutra Gilmore, Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, Rachel Hauk, Cats, The Jellicle Ball, Dane Laffrey, The Lost Boys, Scott Pask, Schmigadoon.
The nominees for Best Costume Design of a Play are Brenda Abandondolo, Dog Day Afternoon, Queen Jean, Liberation, Jeff Mashi, Fallen Angels, Amelia Sosa, The Ballisters, Paul Tazwell, August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone, The nominees for Best Costume Design of a Musical are Linda Cho, Ragtime, Linda Cho, Schmigadoon, Queen Jean, Cats, The Jellicle Ball, Ryan Park, The Lost Boys, David I. Reynoso, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show.
The nominees for Best Lighting Design of a Play are Isabel Afternoon, Natasha Chivers, Oedipus, Stacy DeRosier, August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone, Heather Gilbert, Bug, Heather Gilbert, The Fear of 13, Jack Knowles, Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. The nominees for Best Lighting Design of a Musical are Kevin Adams, Chess, Jane Cox, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Donald Holder, Schmigadoon, Adam Honoré, Cats, The Jellicle Ball, Adam Honoré and Donald Holder, Lighting Design, and 59 Studio, Projection Design, Ragtime, Jen Shriver and Michael Arden, The Lost Boys.
The nominees for Best Sound Design of a Play are Justin Ellington, August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone, Tom Gibbons, Oedipus, Lee Kinney, The Fear of 13, Josh Schmidt, Bug, Mikael Suleiman, Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. The nominees for Best Sound Design of a Musical are Kai Harada, Cats, The Jellicle Ball, Kai Harada, Ragtime, Adam Fisher, The Lost Boys, Brian Ronan, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Walter Trarbach, Schmigadoon.
The nominees for Best Direction of a Play are Nicholas Heitner, Giant, Robert Ike, Oedipus, Kenny Leon, The Ballisters, Joe Mantello, Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, Whitney White, Liberation. The nominees for Best Direction of a Musical are Michael Arden, The Lost Boys, Lear de Bessonnet, Ragtime, Christopher Gattelli, Schmigadoon, Tim Jackson, Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, Jaylon Livingston, and Bill Rausch, Cats, The Jellicle Ball.
The nominees for Best Choreography are Christopher Gattelli, Schmigadoon, Eleanor Scott, Ragtime, Annie Taj, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Omari Wiles and Arturo Lyons, Cats, The Jellicle Ball, Lauren Yolongo Grant and Christopher Cree Grant, The Lost Boys. Are Doug Besterman and Mike Morris, Schmigadoon, Ethan Pop, Kyler England, Adrian A.G. Gonzalez, and Gabriel Mann, The Lost Boys. Lux Pyramid, Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, Brian Yusufer, Chess, Andrew Lloyd Webber, David Wilson, Trevor Holder, and Doug Schatt, Cats, The Jellicle Ball.
The nominees for Best Performance by an Actress in a Featured Role in a Play are Betsy Adam, Liberation, Mary Louise Burke, The Ballisters, Aya Cash, Giant, Laurie Metcalf, Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, June Squibb, Marjorie Prime. The nominees for Best Performance by an Actor in a Featured Role in a Play are Christopher Abbott, Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, Danny Burstein, Marjorie Prime, Brandon J. Durden, Waiting for Godot, Alden Ehrenreich, Becky Shaw, Ruben Santiago Hudson, August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone, and Richard Thomas, The Ballisters.
The nominees for Best Performance by Actress in a Featured Role in a Musical are Shoshana Bean, The Lost Boys, Hannah Cruz, Chess, Brian's The Rocky Horror Show, Anna Gasteyer, Schmigadoon, Nichelle Lewis, Ragtime. The nominees for Best Performance by an Actor in a Featured Role in a Musical are Ollie Lewis-Borsky, The Lost Boys, Andre DeShields, Cats, The Jellicle Ball, Bryce Pinkham, Chess, Ben Levi Ross, Ragtime, Leighton Williams, Titanic.
Play are Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, Becky Shaw by Gina Gianfrido, Every Brilliant Thing by Duncan Macmillan with Johnny Donahoe, Fallen Angels, Oedipus by Robert Ike.
The nominees for Best Revival of a Musical are Cats, The Jellicle Ball, Ragtime, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror,
And this season, a special Tony Award will be given to the League of Resident Theaters, also known as LORT. Tony honors for excellence in the theater will go to 4 outstanding contributors to the Broadway industry: Jake Bell, Ken Lubin, 152 Project, and Lauren Plotkin.
And we are honoring Andre Bishop, Jules Fisher, and James Lapine with special Tony Awards for Lifetime Achievement in the Theater. The 2026 Isabel Stevenson Tony Award, in recognition for her unwavering dedication to advocacy work through the arts, will go to Mary Mitchell Campbell.
It takes many people to put on the Tony Awards each year.
So we want to take a moment to thank our incredible sponsors, and a special thank you to the Sofitel New York, the official hotel of the Tony Awards, for hosting us this very early morning.
Please visit TonyAwards.com for a full list of this year's nominations and other Tony news. And be sure to follow Tony Awards on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and subscribe here on YouTube.
Congratulations again to all of this year's nominees, and please tune into the 79th Annual Tony Awards on Sunday, June 7th on CBS and Paramount Plus, hosted by Pink. And you can watch the Tony Awards Act 1, a pre-show of live awards and content leading into the Tonys on Pluto TV, which I hosted last year. Additional details will be available at a future date.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, have a great day. Happy Tonys, everyone.
Yeah.
We will add some additional details of our own. Frank DeLilla will be on the red carpet on Tony night as well for our usual pre-Tony coverage. All right, there's a lot to take in the space of 14 minutes there.
A lot to take in.
I want to talk about a couple of the musical categories. We saw Schmigadoon there several times. Any surprises there? Will this be a contender as we go towards June 7th?
Absolutely. You know, Schmigadoon, one of the last new musicals to open this season. It is about the love of musical theater. It's about two people who get trapped in a golden age musical. You know, in the performance categories, Anna Gasteyer and Sarah Chase getting recognition for their performances. It's a love letter to the industry. It's a love letter to the art of musical theater, based on the Apple TV Plus series. And the folks from Schmigadoon, the company of Schmigadoon, waking up to a lot of love this morning from the Tonys.
Does that insider nature of this production play to what the voters find appealing?
Absolutely, because you can, you know, remember we talk a lot about the road vote, the people on the road who come into town to vote for the Tonys every year, the people who represent the touring houses. This will tour so well across the country. It's an old school musical with a new flair to it. Lorne Michaels from SNL is the lead producer behind it, so it's obviously very funny. They have a campaign to run, and they could take that coveted Best New Musical Tony.
All right, I don't have the tally in front of me yet, but I also recall hearing The Lost Boys in many of the categories, as expected in some of them. Let's talk about that production and how that stacks up against Schmigadoon.
I mean, The Lost Boys is a big, thrilling musical on stage. Waking up this morning, some of the performers being recognized included Shoshana Bean, third nomination for her work on the Broadway stage. She is in the Best Featured Actress category. Michael Arden's big, bold musical is playing at the Palace Theater right now, obviously getting a lot of love. The last show to open this past Broadway season and got good reviews across the board.
Yeah.
People are the critics really enjoyed this, including our pal Johnny, who's out in Schubert Alley right now. You know, this could also give Schmigadoon a run for its money for the coveted Best New Musical Award.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about that cycle, about when a show gets into the minds of Tony voters, whether it's fresh in their minds as these nominations come in, because Chess did not perform as the cast and crew of Chess would have hoped it did.
Yeah, you know, Chess, there was a big question mark to what was going to get that third slot for Best Musical Revival. And it went to the Rocky Horror Show. The Rocky Horror took that slot. But with Chess, which we see right there on the screen, Nicholas Christopher being recognized in featured categories, but no Lea Michele, no Aaron Tveit. These are two Broadway babies. Lea Michele got her start in the musical theater. Aaron Tveit got his start in the musical theater. Aaron Tveit won his Tony Award for Moulin Rouge. the only time he was ever nominated. Everyone thought this was going to be Lea Michele's big Tony nomination for her performance in Chess, and she woke up this morning with no Tony nomination.
Yeah, she has shown her Broadway loyalty.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, she had that incredible comeback moment when Funny Girl was tanking, when Beanie Feldstein left the production. Michael Mayer, the same director of Chess, put Lea Michele into that role. I was there on our opening night. It was thrilling. I think 8 standing ovations later, it was like the Broadway baby has come home. She's come back to her roots, and everyone thought this was going to be her big moment, especially with taking on such a powerful revival. You know, it's a very demanding role for all 3 principals. It's vocally demanding, but no Tony nomination for Lea Michele or Aaron Tveit this morning.
We've got a lot to talk about. We are expecting some of the nominated stars and producers and directors to join us for their reactions to the nominations as we go through our coverage this morning. But as Frank mentioned, we've got Johnny Oleksinski of the New York Post out in the theater district for us, and I want to get his reaction. Johnny, as you heard that list of nominees, what stood out to you?
Well, one thing I noticed, I think we're down to almost a 2 musical race between the 2 Strangers did very well, but the Lost Boys, I noticed it was just one after another, and not only tech, but actors too, with Shoshana Bean and Ali Lewis-Borzge, who was so good in Tommy 2 seasons back and snubbed then, finally getting his vengeance. But it's kind of anyone's game. It's not like last year when we had Maybe Happy Ending, which felt like this juggernaut for the rest of the season. I think these shows are going to be duking it out right till the end.
Johnny, I know the voters don't work as a single block. They're not all talking to each other, but you can read some things, what is and what isn't nominated. There is a complete lack of any love for 2 of the musicals, for Beaches and Queen of Versailles, where there are some other productions that are exceeding expectations.
Yeah, you know, I know a lot of the Tony nominators. They give me nasty glances at parties, but they have a lot of integrity and great discernment. And this time I felt like there was a pointed slap in the face to Stephen Schwartz's Queen of Versailles and to Beaches. I'm pretty sure, from what I heard, Beaches goose-egged, and Queen of Versailles didn't do much better. So they've decided that these 4 shows that they've championed are the best of the year, and I have to agree with them.
Johnny Oleksinski, we'll come back to you as we continue with our coverage. Frank, your thoughts on what Johnny was just saying?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, Beaches, in terms of, and pretty much got panned by the critics. So no shocking moments there. The only thing that I thought could potentially happen is Jessica Voss, who got strong and positive reviews across the board, was going to inch in with the Best Actress in a Musical nomination, but she did not receive that this morning.
With us on the phone now, Sarah Chase, nominated for Schmigadoon. Sarah, good morning. Happy Tony Nomination Day.
Good morning. Thank you.
You had a chance to watch these nominations come in, a total of 12 nominations for Schmigadoon, a great performance. What were you thinking as you heard the news this morning?
First of all, I was so thrilled that my friend Uzo Aduba of 22 years was the one announcing it. So that was pretty special. We went to theater school together and struggled together for many decades. So that was just special. But I'm just so happy for the show. I'm so happy. Everyone is so good, and I'm so happy.
Sarah, it's Frank Dell'Ella. Congratulations on the nomination this morning.
Thank you.
It's no secret the past couple years have been a bit challenging for you health-wise. You know, just talk a little bit about, you know, getting this news and really coming back so strong and giving such a strong and solid and beautiful performance in Schmigadoon.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I obviously was diagnosed with fallopian tube cancer in the middle of my Gatsby run. So to have this happen 2 years later is just absolutely incredible. It's been a journey, and it's such a nice end to it, or at least stop along the way. I haven't even digested it yet.
Sarah, Frank's seen everything. I have not seen Schmigadoon yet, but I'm watching the And it's just such a joyful production. What's it like to get into that theater every night?
It is such a fun place to go to work, and Chris Gattelli and Cinco Paul made sure of that. And it's such a fun job to do, and everybody is so good at what they do. And I just get to sit there and watch people be amazing. I love my job. I love it. And I'm so glad the show's getting recognized.
Sarah, Anna Gasteyer also recognized this morning for her performance in your show, your acting pal on stage at the Nederlander in Schmigadoon. Have you heard from her yet?
We have been texting. I love her. I'm so happy for her. And I think it's well deserved. This is my comedy and my musical theater pal. So this is thrilling.
Sarah, are you good at campaigning?
I'm not even quite sure I've only campaigned for senior vice president in high school. So no.
Wait, how did that end?
Yeah, I got the job.
Yes, yes. You know a thing or two.
Yeah.
Sarah, congratulations.
Congrats, Sarah.
Appreciate you making time for us this morning. All right. Casey Levy's on the phone for us as well. Nominated for Ragtime. Casey, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. You just heard Sarah. Did you campaign for a students' council job back in the day?
I sure did. I think I was president in high school. Yeah.
So you won?
I sense a trend.
I did. It's weird. All of us want to get up in front of a bunch of people, but turns out.
So I mean, now we get into this moment where you are still doing this production, and yet there is this campaign season where you have to balance how overt am I going to be about this, but I would really like to win the Tony Award. What were you thinking as you heard the nomination news this morning?
I just feel really joyful. You know, I've been happy and lucky and fortunate to be working in this amazing Broadway community for 20 years, and for this to be my first nomination for Mother in Ragtime and to be recognized alongside all of my amazing castmates and creative team, you know, it just feels incredible to be singled out and recognized by the community in this way. So I just feel pure joy, honestly.
Casey, it's Frank Delella. Congratulations.
Thanks, Frank.
You know, we've talked a lot about this. You've been in this business for more than 2 decades now. This is your first nomination. You've dedicated your whole life to this business. You know, just talk a little bit about that. You know, finally being recognized by the community, and this has been a really big year for you.
It has. You know, it's something, you grow up watching the Tonys and dreaming of a life and a career in the theater. And this is always one of those bucket list things. And, you know, it's no secret I've opened a lot of big shows over the years and gotten to create a lot of amazing roles. And this particular honor hasn't happened for me yet. So for it, when I can truly appreciate how much it means and I really have such a body of work to back on, it feels very satisfying and very wonderful, honestly, just like a peaceful happiness to know that I've been on the right path and that I now get to just celebrate alongside these other amazing women in my category whose performances are just crushing it. And, you know, now I get to be part of the celebration of the Tonys this season from the inside out, you know, and that feels very exciting.
And Casey, take us back into the pre-production time for Ragtime. You know, obviously familiar material to you from past productions and past success on Broadway. But when did it become clear to you that this was coming together and this was a winner, a potential Tony winner?
Yeah, you know, we did it at City Center so fast and furious as part of the Encore season, and that was my first time doing that in that series. And, you know, you have about 10 days of rehearsal. So you really just rely on your instinct and your director and your choreographer and your team and your co-stars. And, like, that was just such a great learning experience. But I think even then we knew that there was some special sauce. You know, there was something about the place that we're in as a country and as a world right now for Ragtime to be so extra relevant. And so we had, you know, hopes and dreams that it would come to Broadway, but it's one of those things that we didn't necessarily anticipate. So it feels getting to do this piece at this time and to get to recreate this part that was originally so beautifully created by Marin Mazzie, the late, great Marin Mazzie. So to be carrying on the legacy of Mother and bringing it to a new generation feels really special.
And Casey, you're sharing, you're being nominated this morning, but you're also in good company. Your two leading men, Joshua Henry and Brandy Aronowitz, also getting nominations. Have you talked to them? Have you talked to your boys?
I FaceTimed very, very quickly with Joshua because he had a day yesterday at the Met Gala.
Opening the Met Gala, right?
Yeah, no big deal. But I'll be calling him too. And of course, we've got Ben, who's been nominated, and Michelle in the featured categories, and they're both doing such beautiful work. And it's just a thrill that we all get to share this together. I mean, the whole company really rallies together every night to tell this story. So none of us who have been singled out today are doing it alone. We're doing it with our entire cast and crew and orchestra, and that's just extra satisfying to know that we're all in it together.
Casey, enjoy your morning before you get back to work. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm going to go take my kids to school.
Oh, all right. Go to it. I hope we didn't make them late.
Thanks, Casey.
Yeah, they're late, but it's for a good reason. So it's all good.
That's true. That's an acceptable...
Yeah, we'll get you a teacher's note, Casey.
11 Tony nominations for Ragtime. As Casey mentioned, it was a big spotlight for one of her co-stars on the steps of the Metropolitan Museum of Art last night. I had never seen a musical number like
Well, you know what? Anna Wintour loves Broadway. I often see her at the opening night of a lot of these shows, so she's no fool. You think about the best talent in this city, Pat, we know it's steps away in the theater district, so why not bring Joshua Henry on to open the Met Gala? I mean, he truly is one of our great leading men, and this morning getting another nomination under his cap for his incredible performance as Cole House Walker Jr. in Ragtime.
There he was on the steps of the Metropolitan Museum of Art last night. We're going to take a short break on Mornings on One. We'll come back with more of the nominees, fresh off the news that they are on their way to a potential Tony Award. This is Mornings on One.
After 30 years of forecasting for New York, I've learned it takes a dedicated team to cover all the weather our city has to offer. As chief meteorologist at New York One, I'm honored to be able to help New Yorkers plan their day.
Morning, noon, or night, our team is here to bring you accurate forecasts you can count on, from severe weather updates to our weather on the ones. Watch the New York One weather experts with your weather on your TV and on the go with the Spectrum News app.
With Spectrum, I never miss.
I feel incredible.
Never miss a homer. Because I don't have the right app. Never miss one of these. Because I can't find my game. Spectrum makes it easy. All your favorite streaming apps with live TV at no extra cost. I never miss.
My father was a New York City firefighter. My mission, like his, is to serve New Yorkers in a city that doesn't stop when the sun goes down. Being with New York One since the beginning, I'm now honored to join you even earlier each weeknight. Starting at 8 with New York Tonight, we'll explore the latest news developments, followed by New York One at 10 to wrap up your day. So join me each weeknight starting at 8 right here on New York One.
We have the Tony Award nominations in hand this morning. Let's take a look at the totals. Schmigadoon and The Lost Boy with 12 nominations each leading the way, but Ragtime very close behind, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, again, Pat, no surprise here. The three shows, Lost Boys, Schmigadoon, Ragtime, getting, very positive reviews across the board from critics. Lost Boys and Schmigadoon being two of the last new musicals to open as part of this season, two of the last two new musicals to open part of the season, and fresh in the minds of the nominators, too.
Death of a Salesman, well regarded for that production.
Yeah.
Cats the Jellicle Ball, a different format for this show. Andrew Lloyd Webber is never far away from Tony's success.
No, and I recently sat down with Andrew, and he said that he is so jazzed by this new production. It was a big risk to do it down at PAC NYC, to do it in the ballroom world where they're not cats. These are humans competing for this ballroom type feel, these awards in the ballroom scene. But guess what? It worked. It was a huge hit. I know Johnny, who is with us this morning out in Schubert Alley, he was a huge fan of it way back when. And then it moved to Broadway, and critics are loving every single moment of that. And speaking of Cats, we just had Casey Levy on the phone. Cats and Ragtime going neck to neck with that nomination, and Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show sliding in there for that third Best Musical Revival.
That's as good a setup as you'll get to go back to Johnny Oleksinski, who is in the theater district this morning, New York Post entertainment critic. Johnny, the name Rocky Horror Picture Show was a hard one to pick out. Would this catch on with voters as it did? They got 9 nominations for that production.
They did. There's been some controversy with the Rocky Horror Show because what you and I are seeing is the film newspapers over our heads and throw rice. This version has much less chatting back, and I've talked to some voters that really don't like it. Whereas Jellicle Ball, people see that as a huge reinvention of a show they didn't think they could reinvent. It's cats, but they're just humans. They're not cats anymore. And Ragtime is leaping out at people's hearts. So I think it's between Ragtime and the Jellicle Ball. Those are going to go really head-to-head.
And are you going to make a prediction as to which one will prevail in that head-to-head battle?
I will. I will say the Jellicle Ball will win. Don't be misled by the fact that only got, I think, 9 nominations versus Ragtime's 11. They're very, very close.
What about the fact that Ragtime now has solid nominees in both the actor and actress categories?
Well, that is understandable because it's a big ballad show. It's one ballad after another. So Casey Levy and Joshua Henry, both tremendous, they get a really chance to be showcased in a way that in Cats, which is more about the ensemble and 25 actors coming together as a unit, you don't get to stand out quite as much, except Andre DeShields. When you see Andre DeShields' wig in the Jellicle Ball, you'll know why he's in featured actor.
And Johnny, what else has stood out to you as we've gone through this list of categories?
A big one, I'm really happy to see Alden Ehrenreich, who is nominated for Becky Shaw. You might remember he played Han Solo in Solo, a Star Wars Story, and then his Hollywood career kind of imploded. Didn't make a movie for 5 years, and now he's the front runner for a Tony, and well-deserved. Everyone should go see him in that.
Johnny Oleksinski back with us from the Theater District as we go through the Tony nominations. Ali Lewis from The Lost Boys is with us now after getting a nomination. Ali, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, let's talk about how you got this news this morning.
Yeah, I got up pretty early, and I was just sitting at my kitchen table, and the featured actor nomination was one of the last things announced. So I'm just sitting there shaking the whole time, trying to eat a little breakfast and pretend like everything's normal. But yeah, it came through. I have a alphabetical name. It's comes first, so it popped right up on the screen, and my partner Tassie immediately started crying, and I just sat there, shock. I'm still kind of in a state of shock, but yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I was just texting with my hometown friends last night. It always helps me to reconnect to roots and how I got here, and that was I think right now the main thing in my mind is my hometown, Pittsfield, and the Berkshires, and all the people that held my hand to get here.
Ali, it's Frank Dell'Ella. Congratulations on the nomination this morning.
Yeah.
You too, my friend. Shoshana Bean also nominated. I'm always curious, you know, with this incredible company of artists that you're a part of, led by the great Michael Arden. Have you guys been in touch this morning? Are you on text chains together, celebrating via text?
My phone is going crazy. But yeah, the second I get off this, probably the first thing I'm going to do is reach out to Shoshana. I mean, we have become so close in this show. I feel like we're kindred spirits, and just the whole company is really like such a wonderful close family. And so we've been like looking out for each other, and it's been a crazy preview process. So we've kind of, you know, become each other's rocks and all this. So it's just, it's amazing for there to be so much of an overall show nomination, because we've really worked on this really hard and very passionately. So yeah.
Ollie, can we talk about the physicality of this show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Upside down.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So I spent yesterday getting like a full, you know, like body work massage, and later today I have a cold plunge planned. Like I have to do a lot of, you know, body maintenance. You basically are doing a musical as well as doing kind of like a stunt show, you know. We're doing all our own stunts. So there's some upside down, there's flying, there's falling from a bridge, all these different things. But the key is that the producers gave us 6 months of training, and we started even before rehearsals. So they gave us all this incredible time to learn how to do these tricks safe. So it's actually like a manageable thing to do 8 shows a week, and it looks dangerous to the audience, but feels very doable for us. And there's kind of a thrill in that, and you know, working my body to a point of being able to kind of perform like an athlete like that. So it's fun.
Ollie, thanks for being with us this morning. Congratulations on the nominee. We look forward to seeing what happens over the next few weeks.
Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ruben Santiago is with us, Best Featured Actor in a Play nomination. Ruben, good morning. Ruben, are you there?
Ruben.
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 All right. Well, we're going to come back to Ruben. Hang on a second.
Ruben Santiago Hudson being nominated for Joe Turner's Come and Gone, the great August Wilson play directed by Debbie Allen. He has a Tony, so this is another nomination for him, which is very exciting.
A little bit about this production. Joe Turner's Come and Gone is something that we saw several times here. I'm looking for the total 5 nominations.
That's right. Yeah, it recently opened. It's, as I mentioned, directed by Debbie Allen, and the whole initiative was led by Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington wants to bring all of August Wilson's plays, his work to the forefront, and I believe a movie is planned, but before all of that, he wanted to have a revival of it done on stage, and the producer Brian Moreland brought that to life with Debbie Allen, as I mentioned, coming back to the theater and having a big moment. She won the honorary Oscar just this past year, and now she is helming this beautiful, solid production of August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone. And Ruben Santiago Hudson being recognized for his body of work. And the amazing thing about Ruben, Pat, is that he is truly an August Wilson actor. He worked with August. I remember having conversations with him in a piece that's going to air in a couple weeks about, you know, just being in the room with August. And very much many people, many artists who were fortunate enough back when say this is what it must have felt like to have been in the room with Shakespeare or Stephen Sondheim. He truly is one of the great playwrights of our generation, of our time.
You know, I'm just realizing that we haven't spent any time talking about the production with the longest name of any production on Broadway this year.
Joe Turner, August Wilson's Joe Turner's Coming Up?
No, I was going to say Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York.
Well, that too. I mean, I'm looking at my sheet. I'm just looking at the actual line, and they both match.
Yeah,
so yes,
that's
Two
up there
Strangers
as well.
Carry a Cake Across New York. I mean, this again, a little show that could, coming over from London, a two-hander as we call it in theater. Christiane Pitts and Sam Tucci being recognized both for their work in the show. opened this past fall.
8 nominations.
8 nominations, rave reviews, going up for the coveted Best New Musical Tony Award.
All right, Ruben Santiago Hudson is back with us now on the phone. Ruben, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, we're well. I hope you are well with this news. Tell me what this means to get this Tony nomination this morning.
Well, it means the world to me to be with August Wilson again and with this incredible cast, with Debbie Allen, and to be recognized in this way. At this point in my career, I mean, the blessings, each blessing is wonderful. You know, I'm still here and I'm with the people I love most.
Delela, congratulations on the nomination. Ruben, you won a Tony back in '96 for Seven Guitars, another August Wilson work. August Wilson clearly brings you good luck. You also were nominated a while back for directing Jitney, the revival of Jitney. Just, share with our viewers, you got to be in the room with August Wilson. What was he like? Yeah. And, what do you think he would say with being recognized for your interpretation of this work on Broadway?
August was just always tremendously supportive of every actor in the room, and he particularly heard something in my tone and in my style that matched his. And he would just be, we would be hugging and trying to find a place to have some a good breakfast, like some salmon patties and grits or something. But he was just a whirlwind of ideas and thoughts, and he was a huge fighter for destroying the stereotypes and celebrating the wonderful things about who we are as African Americans in this country.
Take me into the theater. How have audiences been reacting?
The audiences have gone wild. This cast is amazing. Joshua Boone and Cedric and Taraji and on down Abigail. The whole company is astounding. Young Broadway debuts, and the audiences have embraced us in the most wonderful, familiar way. And it's just a joy every day to go in and say these words.
Ruben, being in the room with the great Debbie Allen, another entertainment legend in her own right, you guys brought her back to Broadway. Brian Moreland back to Broadway to direct this production of Joe Turner. I know she has been so excited to bring this work back to life on stage. How has that collaboration been?
Debbie she's the one. She is strong, she's smart, she's clear, she's tremendously supportive. And she knows what she wants, and she finds a way in the most wonderfully motherly way to get you exactly where you need to be. It's amazing to work with Debbie. Any day, any time. Bring me Debbie Allen.
Ruben, congratulations.
Hey, thank you so much, and thanks for having me. Have a great morning.
Good luck in the weeks ahead here. We heard a lot in this Tony run-up about the transfer of Titanic from off-Broadway to Broadway, and that production has delivered for Marla Mandel with us on the phone now, nominated for her work in Titanic. Marla, good morning.
Good morning.
I want you to go back to when this production was conceived and whether you thought you could end up in this moment this morning.
It was conceived in a bar under the influence of a couple martinis and glasses of Sauvignon Blanc. So if you were to tell me 10 years ago in Los Angeles in a dinner theater that I would be on the phone with you right now and Tony nominated, I would have had a couple more martinis and said, go to sleep.
Marla,
I am just over the moon.
Marla, it's Frank Delela. Congratulations, my friend. I feel like this has been a long time coming. I'm so thrilled for you. As you saw in my piece this past weekend, I took great pleasure in watching you get emotional to carry this torch of sorts for your family, because you come from a family of musical theater writers. Your father is a musical theater guy, and your mother is a musical theater person as well. Now you have the Tony nomination, or actually there are 4 for your show. What does that mean for the Mandel family?
Well, the Mandel family, I believe my parents have already passed away from the news. But, my dad thinks that he's Celine Dion. Like, his entire Facebook feed is Celine Dion. So I become more aggressive over the next month. My sister's already texted me about it, being like, get ready for Mom and Dad. But I am, on a heartfelt note, I am so honored and I was thinking how grateful I am to have such a supportive family that understands the art so well, that knows how hard this moment is, and know that these opportunities, may never come. And the fact that they are so aware of this world, I just feel even more lucky to have a family that not only understands it, but supports me so much. So I can only imagine how emotional we're going to be on Tony night together. We'll probably all, cry in a circle together, Frank. You'll be there to give us a hug.
And Marla, it's Pat Kiernan. I just had one more question on that idea of family and support. There are so many people, whether it's on your stage, whether it's on another Broadway stage, or whether it's on a smaller stage, who have made a choice to pursue their art, and they're looking for a payoff like this. They're looking for a moment like this. And sometimes there's a family member who's not so supportive.
Absolutely. I really tribute this show and this moment to the testament of friendship between the two people that co-wrote the book with me, Ty Blue and Constantine Rassouli. We came up with this idea together, and it has been a 10-year journey, and our friendship and making each other laugh is what got us to this place. And, we were all kind of broke and jaded, and we moved away from New York to pursue our dreams in Los Angeles and wound up writing the show. And so I just really feel like this show is the most incredible Cinderella story between, three best friends. And I am so blessed that I get to be on that stage with them on Tony night.
Marla, congratulations. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
A Broadway debut for Luke Evans. Luke Evans in Rocky Horror Picture Show on the phone with us now. Rocky Horror Show. I added the picture. I added the picture when I shouldn't have. This is the live version. Luke, good morning. Congratulations.
Good morning. How are you?
We're well. How are you? How are you is the more relevant question.
Well, I was very fortunate to be invited to the Met Gala last night, so I thought I'd have a little lie-in this morning, and that was pleasantly ruined by 72 missed calls.
Luke,
yeah.
Luke, it's Frank Dell'Ella. Congratulations. I was texting your partner saying, "Is he up? Is he up?" He goes, "No, he's still sleeping. He's still sleeping." Rightfully so. Luke, we've talked a lot about your career over the past couple months, and there was a point in your life where you were thinking about just leaving the biz. This was in London. You were a musical theater guy, an actor, a stage actor, and you were going to give it all up. Now you are a Tony nominee this morning.
How crazy is that? You just never know the decisions you make, and I'm just so glad I kept going. I mean, this is really a moment. Honestly, I feel like since my feet stepped onto the ground here in New York in February when I started rehearsals in the snow, I feel like I'm in this sort of like fever dream. It's been an extraordinary time, and I'm having so much fun on that stage with those incredible people I get to work with every night. And this is just the icing on the cake, really. I didn't even think about the awards and the season that I was arriving in, and to just be nominated, and just to have a kind word said about your performance, when I know how much each and every actor on a Broadway stage, the energy and effort and commitment they put in to their performances. I now know what that is, and I know how much it takes. So to have this acknowledgement, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Luke Evans, nominated as actor in Rocky Horror Show. Luke, congratulations. Good luck as we get toward June 7th in the Tonys.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Congrats, Luke.
Luke mentioned his 78 missed calls, and I think that has played out all across the theater community this morning. We know that Nicholas Christopher was FaceTiming with friends as the news came in. Nicholas Christopher on the phone with us now, having just been nominated. Nicholas, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Let's talk about chess and the way this came together for you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just shaking. Michael Mayer had seen me in Sweeney Todd and when I was playing Pirelli. And I think, I don't know if you can hear my 2-year-old daughter throwing a fit in the background, but that's what's happening. But yeah, Michael saw me in Sweeney and thought that, you know, maybe I could handle the dialect work that it would take to be a Russian chess master. And he saw me on the street one day and he was like, you know, freaking out and said he's going to call me about something. And I was like, okay, great. And that ended up being a reading for chess, you know, maybe like 3 years ago now. And then it was happening, then it wasn't happening, then it was happening, then it wasn't happening, and then it happened. And I'm just so thankful that, you know, he saw something in me that was right for Anatoly.
I think I just saw a picture of one of your friends or family waving a pom-pom there in celebration of your nomination on that FaceTime you were on this morning. That was your mom?
My mom. She was wearing her chess T-shirt and had her pom-pom ready, and yeah, my whole family FaceTimed for the CBS morning announcement.
Has she seen you in the show?
Be there in celebration or be there in you know, support of whatever the outcome was.
She's seen the show?
Oh, yeah, like 8 times.
Nick, it's Frank Dell'Ella. Congratulations on just such a beautiful performance in chess. You know, when we were chatting not that long ago, you know, you were telling me how much you were a theater kid, and theater really saved you growing up or being born in Bermuda and then moving to Massachusetts and really finding your world with the theater community, and that saved you. You know, you think about that little boy way back when. You know, what would you say to him, knowing that you are now a Tony nominee?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I still feel like that little kid right now. Just, you know, stay the course. Stay the course. I think where, you know, I was finding acceptance in the theater community as a kid, you know, it's easy when it becomes your profession to feel, you know, passed over or left out because you have to deal with so much rejection over and over and over again. And there was parts that I was right for, but I didn't necessarily have the box office draw to be able to take that part. Or there were times where I was, you know, I may have thought I was right for a part and didn't get it. And so with that rejection, staying the course is really what it's about, and to follow the work and do good work no matter where you are, what you're doing. And just this morning, it really feels like, you know, I am a part of this community. I do have something to say and something to offer, and I'm just so happy.
And you know, Nicholas, it's safe to say we've been watching your career blossom into this moment. You know, I'll never forget seeing you in Jelly's Last Jam at City Center a couple seasons ago and saying to myself, why isn't he doing more? And you look at this season, this is your breakout role. It's your breakout role, and now you have a Tony nomination with it. I mean, that must make you feel proud and that you've arrived. You've arrived in this community.
I mean, yeah, you know, I've been working pretty steadily for like 15 years. And, you know, each and every part that I've taken on has been something completely different. So I don't know if people just didn't realize I was the same person or what. So I'm thankful that I've been able to put food on the table and keep a roof over my head for sure. But now to have the recognition of my peers, of the industry, is really just so much more meaningful than I could have ever even dreamed of. You know, everybody does this to be seen. Everybody does this to have a part of them be heard or expressed that they might not be able to express in everyday life. And for this group of people to say like, hey, you're doing a great job. Like, here's this nomination is just like, oh man, I don't have the words for that.
Nick Christopher, one of 5 nominations for chess in these Tony Award nominations this morning. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you.
We should mention, as we're talking about chess, that Lea Michele could well have been a nominee, but was not.
Yeah, she was not part of the Best Actress in a musical category this morning. And many critics, many people who cover the industry thought she was going to be on that list, but she is not.
All right, we have Shoshana Bean on the phone now.
That's right.
Shoshana, good morning.
Good morning.
Shoshana!
At a Tony
Hi.
nomination here, how are you feeling about this?
I feel amazing. I just was so overwhelmed and emotional this morning, mostly because I'm like, secondly for myself, firstly for this whole cast and team who I think made such an exquisite piece of work and has worked tirelessly to execute it. And I've just never been so deeply in love with a group of people. So to see all of them acknowledged in a way that they just so richly deserve, I'm so hyped for our team, for the Lost Boys team, Lost Boys family. And then second to that, I'm very honored to be acknowledged as well.
Shoshana, it's your third Tony nomination. Back on the boards, it's your pal Frank Dillella on the phone with you right now.
I know who it is.
Full disclosure, Shoshana's been to the Dillella household for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, we're like brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Representing some of the people, Frank.
Show, you know, you were the final cast member to be cast, the final principal to be cast in this show. And it was, you know, I remember talking to you about this on Thanksgiving, you know, coming onto this show. And look what you guys have accomplished. 12 Tony nominations, leading the charge, tying with Schmigadoon. I mean, that must make you feel so proud to be, you know, 12 Tony nominations season, the final show, the final musical to open this season. Just talk about teamwork.
Oh, man. And truly, like collaboration like I've never seen ever in a room. You know, and a lot of cooks in the kitchen. And the more cooks, the harder that collaboration becomes. But, you know, I am blown away at what everyone accomplished. And also, you know, not to understate that there was no out-of-town tryout. So everything that we tried was in front of the hardest audience in the world, which is New York. Yeah. We tried and fell on our face many times, you know, in front of people, which was so wildly vulnerable. So this process has been different for me than any other one and has felt the most scary and the most vulnerable. We often inside of our Lost Boys family refer to this whole process as a trust fall. You know, from trusting each other to trusting the material to trusting the literal technology and trust, which is hard to do and to land, you know, with 12 nominations is no small thing. So you know, again, going back to Thanksgiving and talking to you about this, it never felt like a head decision for me. It always felt like a heart decision, and I didn't know why. But I think the very first day, setting foot in that rehearsal room on day one, I knew exactly why. I said, my heart made me say yes, above all reason. And that it was because of the people and the energy and the heart that has carried this team and this show. And I think it's evident in what we do every night. And, you know, if it is a meritocracy and if nominations do reflect that work and heart, then these are certainly beyond, you know, an example of that.
More note about the people who are putting this production together with you every night, those who may not have been to the Dillella house for Thanksgiving, those who may not have...
They're all invited.
They're coming this year.
Those who may not have multiple nominations. What do you, as you're going into a project like this, what do you say to the younger members of the team as they are daunted by what's in front of them?
Oh, I have said a lot to them. I haven't shut up. I bet they wish I would. But I think the main thing that I've harped on from the beginning is to stay present, because the last time I remember feeling this kind of magic was Hairspray. And I remember the elders, Harvey, telling me, guys, this doesn't happen all the time. Guys, look around. Guys, stay present. This doesn't happen all the time. And so I find myself parroting that a lot to these kids. And I you know, yell at them a lot about taking care of themselves and staying home and being diligent because this schedule and this season just doesn't really let up. But they are the most dedicated, grateful, present, loving. It's an incredible place to go to work. I've never had a show that I'm involved in where I just can't wait to get there every day, and I'm like so really taking my time leaving at night. It's a joy.
Shoshana, delight to have you on this morning. Good luck.
Congrats, Shoshana. Proud of you.
Thank you, guys. Love you, Frankie.
Love you too.
Johnny Oleksinski from the New York Post is with us. He is on Schubert Alley this morning. He's been listening to all of these conversations. Johnny, this is a moment when the business reality of Broadway theater starts to come together, because there are shows that we're hoping for more love from the nominators, hoping for a Tony Award. As you look at the winners in this, who has popped up to a level that maybe got some of the love that they were looking for today?
Well, the big one, and the big one in the most literal sense, because it's a big honkin' musical, is The Lost Boys. They're not quite the leader. I think it's 12. The Lost Boys and Schmigadoon both have 12 apiece, but they need that. You know, you need to slap on a marquee right now because everybody is vying for a kind of limited audience. Now the big next step is actually winning. That's what keeps things open. That's why we have an Outsiders. That's why we have a maybe happy ending. But like the Oscars, the Tonys actually really do move tickets still, especially that all-important word, Best Musical.
Johnny, I'm realizing we didn't spend much time talking about Death of a Salesman. 9 nominations, another successful Broadway production.
Yes, and hugely successful. For a revival of a classic American play to be doing 1.2 million a week at the Winter Garden, where Mamma Mia was, and now it's, you know, Daddy Dies. Very, very impressive. But it's totally deserved. Nathan Lane is a phenomenal Willy Loman, nominated for Best Actor, and I would say narrowly in the lead. Laurie Metcalf, one of the best Linda Lomans I've ever seen. So I'm expecting that. It's that versus Oedipus. Those are the big ones in Best Revival, but I think Death of a Salesman takes it.
Is Scott Rudin's involvement going to be a factor as we work toward the 7th of June?
I've talked to some voters about that out of curiosity, and most of them say no. They vote for what they like, not necessarily against like or don't like. But that certainly has kind of cast a pale over the productions. But as we saw from today, he also produced Little Bear Best Play nomination, and then 9 for Death of a Salesman. There were 40 nominators today who did not care that Scott Rudin produced those shows.
Johnny, such a pleasure to have your insight as we've been through our live nomination announcement this morning. Thank you. We will read about all of your thoughts as we get closer to Tony Day on June 7th. Nichelle Lewis is with us, nominated for Ragtime. Nichelle, good morning.
Good morning.
Where were you when you got the news about the nomination today?
I was on my couch trying not to pee myself.
Well, that's an honest answer, Nichelle.
That is
Thank
an
you.
honest answer, Nichelle. Nichelle, it's Frank Dell'Ella. Congratulations on the nomination, your first time being nominated. I believe this is your 2nd Broadway show. You made your debut with The Wiz a couple seasons ago. I'm curious, just recently, the great Audra McDonald was at your show. This is, of course, a role that she created on stage. She won one of her Tonys for this. You know, how does it feel to be following in the footsteps of 6-time Tony Award winner Audra McDonald, stepping into her shoes, making it your own, and now getting a nomination for what you've created with the role of Sarah in this revival of Ragtime?
Oh my gosh, it feels absolutely incredible. When Audra saw me at the opening night party, she came up to me and she just said, like, you are inspiring, like, so many generations. And it just left me gagged, I'm not gonna lie. But I think it just reminds me that I do have the ability to create and to create something beautiful and to connect with audiences and to inspire people and to change lives. And it's so amazing. And I know that I got a text from a whole entire, like, group of kids from a school that I went to go sing for at one point, and it made me like cry. Like, it was just beautiful, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something worthwhile.
Nichelle, when you were in Virginia growing up, you're performing in high school, looking toward New York for productions like this. At what point did you realize that that dream was coming true?
Oh, I think I realized it when I got Hairspray, the national tour. I think I was like, oh, I'm actually doing this, and I'm actually, you know, going on the road and getting to perform and getting to sing and getting to be with super cool castmates, and now we're here, and it just feels incredible. I feel like I just continue to put in the work, continue to learn, and I continue to learn to this day and continue to be open to all the things, including listening to the mentor and guidance from Casey and Joshua and even Ben, and just like anyone I can. I'm so open to getting guidance from them, and I think it's really changed my life.
Nichelle, it's been great to talk to you this morning. Congratulations.
Congrats, Nichelle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also on the line on this Tony nomination day, Kelly O'Hara, nominated for Fallen Angels. Kelly, we've done this before. Good morning. Congratulations.
Hi, how are you guys? Hi, Frank.
Hi, Cal. Congrats.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Kelly, does this get old?
It never gets old. It never, believe me, it never gets old. And neither do you. Two have been my favorite. I've had crushes on both of you for years. I've been watching you my entire New York career.
I don't know how that could be possible. Well, we've been watching you your entire New York career as well. Specifically, talk about this production and the fact that here you are looking at another nomination. What clicked for you in this role?
Let me tell you, I have to give the credit to Scott Ellis for seeing something. You know, look, we all hope we can do a million things. We really do. And I've tried to be willing to try and leap. But when Scott brought me this Noel Coward play and got Rose Byrne to come do it with me, I just, you know, he just gave me the biggest gift, because it allowed me to look into other parts of myself and really go for it, and gave me a great team member and then a whole cast of people and crew. And so I give the credit to him, because this has been so joyous and such a surprise. And so to be recognized for it is just, you know, I'm over the moon.
Kelly, on June 7th, there's going to be a split screen in the CBS telecast. You're going to be in one of those boxes on the screen, and Rose is going to be in another. What's it like to be up against one of your castmates?
Well, that's a great question. I feel like there can be two things at once. There can be an absolute feeling of team. In this particular case, where we catch each other, we jump into each other's arms, basically. And there can also be the absolute feeling that I'm seeing genius comedy at work right in front of me, and I would be so pleased for her to take home the award. I just would. I could adore her more. And, you know, I've gotten to take one of these home. It's like, I would be so happy. And I'm just so happy to be right next to her. It just, the whole thing feels good, you know?
Kelly, it's your pal Frank DeLella. You know,
and you're my favorite.
You're my favorite. Okay, it's a love fest. It's a love fest. No, Kel, but seriously, you know, we know you as a musical theater star. You are truly one of our great musical theater leading ladies, for forever and ever. But this show, we get to see your genius comedy skills. There's no singing in it for the most part, but you know, it's a different side to Kelly O'Hara, which is so exciting to watch. You know, what has it been like to flex those muscles and not able to lean on your glorious soprano on stage?
Listen, I won't lie and say I didn't wonder. You know, I mean, when you do something for the first time, really, and not only a play, but a Noel Coward play. Which, let's be honest, there's musicality to Noel Coward. He's such a genius in his writing and his rhythms and his alliterations. But the comedy itself, the free fall, the risk taking, that's been uncomfortable at times, and then extremely gratifying at other times. But I have to hand it to the people around me who have been leaping in front of me by example.
Yeah.
You know, they've been going for it, and they say, "I'll go for it then." You know, and so I think having that team effort in that way, and then having Scott Ellis say, you know, why don't you try falling down the stairs? You know, and then and you try some. Yeah, go ahead.
We get to watch you slide down the stairs. I mean, what is the physical therapy routine, Kelly? Every week, every night.
Hey, she's not a baby anymore, so this neck is starting to hurt. But I've got it down to a bit of a science. They've smoothed out all the rough edges of the set. They've sanded down. Because let me tell you, I have a couple of scars of pride before that happened. Because everything was trial and error. You know, I've been doing these things as we've gone. Yeah.
Kelly, soak this news in for a few hours and then get back to work.
That's right. I'm going to enjoy myself while I can, and then I'm going to get out there and have some more fun.
I love it.
So great to have you with us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
All right, Frank, final thoughts here as we wrap up our coverage of the Tony Award nominations. Lost Boys and Schmigadoon at the top of the list with 12 nominations each. Ragtime with 11.
We're off to the races, as they say. You know, it's no surprise, you know, hearing chatter from the folks in the business that I've talked to. A lot of these shows have already hired campaign managers to get the word out that they deserve these best and these top awards. So let the games begin, as they say, Pat.
I'm not sure a single front runner has emerged as in past years, though.
No, I mean, I remember this time last year, maybe Happy Ending getting a ton of awards, and everyone said that will be the big winner on the night of the Tonys, or a year Hamilton or the Book of Mormon. But no, it could go any which way. You mentioned the Lost Boys and Schmigadoon with 12 nominations each, but don't forget Two Strangers, Carrie Cake Across New York got rave reviews across the board, not one bad review for that show. And then Titanic, the little show that is right now playing all around the world, finally made it to Broadway, played 3 years, almost 3 years off Broadway in years past, won all the major off-Broadway awards. So who's to say?
You were saying that we were going to have to tune in on June 7th.
That's right.
Not only for the CBS broadcast of the awards, but for our red carpet coverage beforehand. You are getting ready for that now.
Oh, yes. The tuxedo has been designed and is on my way.
Oh. Thank you.
On its way, I should say.
Thank you, Frank.
Yes.
Tony Awards, Sunday, June 7th. We will have full coverage of all of these Tony-nominated productions between now and then. You can join Frank every Saturday and Sunday for On Stage. Thursday, June 4th at 9 p.m., we will have our preview show. On Stage presents Road to the Tonys. That is a look back at the best of the 2025-2026 Broadway season. And then, as promised, June 7th, New York One with the Red Carpet to the Tonys production ahead of the night.